A new era in sim racing broadcasting always begins with a vision. Hello and welcome to Grid Vision's broadcast of the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway, and not the new Atlanta that is more like a super speedway, but the old and tricky and worn out Atlanta that is a 1.54 mile racetrack that has bumps all over it. Tire wear is going to be huge. This is a difficult mile-and-a-half track, to say the least. And of course, these guys are going to be tackling in the NASCAR truck, just like they have been this entire road course season. But of course, this is actually going to be a little bit of a difference here. The last race in the mini road course season, of course, a little bit of a surprise we had last week. We thought we were going to Texas combined. I do believe that was a Roval, but there was a last second decision in order to go to kind of liven it up a little bit. Definitely give these guys a little bit of a fun race, and they decided to go to one of the trickiest mile-and-a-halfs that there is, of course, Atlanta. Of course, my name is Brian Britt, and I'm joined in the booth by Taylor Burris. Of course, Austin Derbyshire is down behind the camera. Is going to be bringing us all the action to see all these wonderful fans out there that are watching. How you doing tonight, Taylor?
I am doing wonderful. Good evening, everyone, as we are here to see these drivers battle it out at one of the most trickiest oval configurations on the iRacing platform here at Atlanta, but have a little bit of fun before the brand new season of the Champions Power Equipment Truck Series kicks off.
And of course, the temperature of the racetrack, 70 degrees, so not too hot out there. It's going to be quite cool and grippy. They're going to need that, just considering how tricky this racetrack is. And I love this version of the track. I mean, I am, I guess, the new version is starting to grow on me a little bit, but still, you just can't beat this rough surface that gives it so much character. So I expect these guys are going to have a tricky time here. And, of course, they're on fixed setups as well. So they won't have a lot of opportunity to really change the cars around.
No, they really won't. So it's just all about how you handle driving here around Atlanta Motor Speedway, as well as also when you come down pit road to get fresh set of tires. Fuel won't be much of an issue, but tires may come into play.
Yeah, 100%. And actually, speaking of the format here, I do believe we're going to have two 20-lap heats in order to determine the running order here for the main, which will be 40 laps. Of course, two sets of tires are going to be in the pits for that 40-lap main. Like you mentioned before, fuel is not going to be really anything these guys are going to be keeping in mind. But, of course, you can run pretty quick around this racetrack, but I don't think that's going to be the main goal. I think the priority is going to be saving tire, just kind of taking it a little bit easier and saving your resources. That is, I think, is going to be the hugest thing is resource management here. And it looks like we do have the first grid set here. Kyle Holden's going to be starting up on the pole with Nathan Myers in second, Sheldon Pearson third, George Young fourth, Brad Thacker fifth, and Robert Wynn is going to be sixth. So this is going to be a six-car heat. So not a lot of drivers on the track at one time, but I think they're going to still make it just as exciting, especially because I think it's pretty hard to pass here. I mean, when you want to pass here, Taylor, you have to kind of get outside of your comfort zone in a lot of ways.
You really do. You have to try to find different lanes here around this circuit with this older configuration. And with the run progressing, those first 5 to 10 laps, you feel like you could run anywhere. But when the race gets longer into the run, and after past lap 10, that truck is going to change quite a bit. So you're going to see some drivers try to find that line to help them propel up at certain points of the race.
Yeah, 100%. That's going to definitely be the key. And I think track position is going to be very important as well. It's going to be whether Kyle Holden, who was starting on the pole here for this heat, whether he relents to the drivers that are putting pressure on him. This is a racetrack. You have to run your own race. You can't let other guys push you to wear those tires out more than you should. And I think that's going to be the main deal. Does Kyle let these guys go? Does he try to hold on to the spot? It really just depends. I mean, I think he has to run a certain lap time, and try to maintain the resources. We're going to say that over and over and over again tonight. And here we go. It looks like we are rolling. I do believe we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty. We'll take a little bit of a brief step away while we fix that, and we'll be right back with the green flag.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for your patience and consideration here as we wait for the pace car to take the left turn down pit road at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Kyle Holden's going to be the one in control of the field here. We'll have to wait and see how the top line works here. I know Atlanta is a track where the top line can work, especially with this old worn-out surface. It's really hard to stay on the bottom on this racetrack. But here we go, entering the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out for heat number 1 of the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series race at Atlanta. And already we see the top line already starting to move. That is Nathan Myers into turn 1 and 2. Looks like he loses a little bit of speed, but I think he's going to be able to have a pretty good bit of momentum coming off of 2 here. What do you think, Taylor?
He is able to. He's going to hold on to second place as he will try to slide in behind Kyle Holden, that TWS machine, as he works his way through. As they work their way into turns 3 and 4, side-by-side battle for third as Sheldon Pearson and George Young battle for that third step at the podium as they come off of turn number 4. Across the line for the first time, it will be Kyle Holden.
Yeah, you see them battling still side-by-side for that third-place position, Sheldon Pearson and George Young. I know George Young has not been taking too fondly. Oh, problems there for Sheldon Pearson sideways. Does he catch it? And he does. And he is going to definitely maybe be put under fire from Brad Thacker. But what a save there. It really shows how difficult this racetrack is. I mean, it's so easy to lose the nose of that race car, and he definitely almost did there.
He certainly did almost lose it right there. Gathers it back up, will be able to continue on his way, but he loses a ton of time on the rest of the field. But meanwhile, here comes Nathan Meyer on the outside lane. He's got a big side of momentum to help him propel around the outside, but Kyle Holden will keep him down. Crossover down the back straightaway.
Yeah, I think Kyle Holden just came up there to try to take his line away. That was really close. Myers almost got into the rear end of the 59. Luckily, that was not the case, though. Side by side for the lead in turn 3 and 4 as they exit onto the front stretch. I do believe Nathan Myers, he's got a pretty good head of steam. Haven't seen a whole lot of this driver in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, so he must be one of the new recruits. And I tell you what, he is definitely hitting the ground running at this point in this 24 machine.
Certainly is. Representing San Diego Padres here as he works his way through. He's got Sheldon Pearson right there, but he's helping Kyle Holden right now as we go on board with that number 24 Chevrolet.
Yeah, even though this track is not like a whole lot of other mile-and-a-half tracks, draft still does matter. You know, having that help, that driver that's behind you to kind of push you along does still play somewhat of an effect. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, these guys I don't think they're being very easy on their equipment, and I think eventually they're going to end up getting caught possibly by the guys that are further back. I mean, you see like the likes of Brad Thacker. He's running, last time by, he was faster than both second and third place.
He certainly was, and he's got a lot of work to do here as they try to get themselves situated. We'll go a little further back as we just saw your top 3. George Young and Sean Thacker battling for that 4th spot for the moment, putting on a good, actually that's Sheldon Pearson, my apologies, in 4th, battling with John Thacker in the 56.
Yeah, Pearson, of course, was the one that lost the nose and got really, really loose, was able to save it. So he's trying to work his way back up, and of course, this is very important. I mean, of course, points not really on the line, but you know, these guys, wherever they finish in this heat determines where they finish in the main, or where they start, I should say. Look at this line from Sheldon Pearson all the way up to the top. He's running on the fence here. That's something that you can do here at Atlanta. Like I was mentioning before, we saw Sheldon Pearson when he got loose earlier. He was down closer to the bottom, and it seems like there's just not a lot of grip down there. A good run there for Sheldon Pearson here. He's going to get the run off of turn 2. I think he's going to get possibly clear, and he does. And back up front, Kyle Holden is still trying to hold off Nathan Myers. You see George Young is starting to fall back quite a ways. He's got about a 7/10 gap there in between him and 1st and 2nd. So I do believe maybe Young burned his equipment up trying to stay up there with those drivers.
Yeah, you can't be burning up your equipment that early on in a run here, and that's going to cost him detrimentally for him, as we only still have 13 laps to go in this race. May not seem like a lot. This is a short race compared to what we normally see on the iRacing service, so it's definitely something you can't be willing to get rid of that quickly, and he may have to consider that when he goes into the feature race later.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to take these lessons that he's learning in this heat and try to apply that. Of course, you look at his fastest lap, a 30.910. That was the fastest lap out of everybody, and I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, as we're now 3 wide. This could end up poorly, as you see George Young all the way up at the fence last time by, hit a 31.8. That was about a half a second off of the pace of what the other drivers around him are doing. Well, watch out for Brad Thacker, now up to third place, still being chased down by, I do believe, Sheldon Pearson. Now Young has gone all the way to the rear of the field. He went from third all the way to last.
Tough break right there, I have to say, for your driver, George Young. He's got a lot of work to do. Might have to figure out maybe a little bit of adjustments on his driving line here, but hopefully he can maybe learn something before the feature race as we watch the leaders battle it out for the race lead. Myers being a little bit cautious at the moment, not trying to push the envelope as we see Holden continue to lead the charge.
Yeah, the clean air is so important. I think that's what's helping out Kyle Holden right now. Last time by, Nathan Myers was a few hundredths faster, but then it just switched that time. Kyle Holden was a few hundredths faster that time himself. And I think clean air has a lot to do with this. I think that's what's allowing Kyle Holden to save a little bit of his equipment here. He's not having to really deal with dirty air and things like that causes the truck to get a lot tighter. Nathan is right in the wake of course, Kyle Holden is not getting a whole lot of downforce, which is causing that truck to be have a little bit of an understeer, which can burn the tires up prematurely. And look, we do have a big group of race cars there. Robert Wynn now up to third. You see Sheldon Pearson now back to fifth.
There'll be a lot of interesting things here as Pearson has to try to fight his way back up through the field here. He's got a lot of work to do, but he's starting to make some headway as we watch him go to the outside. John Thacker gets a little loose off turn two. Does he save it? He does.
Yeah, I think Brad Thacker, he was up into third there for a moment, and then now is falling all the way back to sixth. So something's definitely going wrong with that truck, and you see Sheldon Pearson trying to find any clean air he possibly can. And a lot of movement going on in that group there. Robert Wynn's having some big blinking issues at the moment. But you see Sheldon Pearson, he's looking for any clean air he can get. Any clean racetrack, that way he can get better grip. I don't think it's helping him out very much, though. I mean, looking at his lap times, very off the pace. And speaking of lap times, we're seeing a lot of these guys fall off almost a second. I mean, look at George Young, look at Sheldon Pearson, have fallen off over a second here. And this isn't even the longest run we're going to see all night. I mean, we still have even 7 laps to go here in this heat. And imagine later in the main, we're having a 40-lap run, Taylor, if that goes green.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's going to be even more detrimental for drivers have to determine certain strategies in order to come out with a strong run in this race later on. So it's going to be interesting to see how that'll play out with how long people decide to stay out to get tires or stay out for the entire race.
Yeah, I think the fall off is definitely pretty big at this racetrack. I don't think it is big enough to where you would want to go down pit road to take tires in the middle of a 40-lap run. I think you're going to want to try to stay out, but if we do have a caution, then that would be a prime opportunity to go down there and get some tires. But you can see right now, these guys are uncomfortable. You see Brad Thacker and Sheldon Pearson. Both of these drivers are uncomfortable. Look at that, Brad getting loose off of 2 right there. This place, it's like driving on an ice skating rink, and these guys definitely are having some major problems and frustrations right now. I mean, a lot of other tracks like mile and a half, so you're able to kind of drive it very hard and not have much issue in this truck. You see, he catches the grass, gets loose, is able to save it, goes to the grass again. But he is now going to be, I think, secured in his 6th place position at the moment, as we have now 5 laps to go, coming to 4 to go. Kyle Holden has started leaving Nathan Myers now, a half a second in between them. Go ahead, Taylor.
He certainly is. He's had a big save right there, but gathers the back up, continues on his way. But now Holden has the biggest lead of the race so far over Meyer, 6/10, as Robert Wynn had a brief moment, but is able to continue on his way in 3rd.
Yeah, I think Robert Wynn still is having some major blinking issues. It's not causing much of a problem right now with other drivers, but when we do have the full field out here for the main, I think that could be a little bit more of an issue, especially at a track like this. But so hopefully he's able to get that cleared up and it doesn't affect anybody too much when it comes to the main. Of course, he does have quite a bit of distance in between him and the 4th place driver, so it is not impacting anyone. But Kyle Holden, I think that clean air, this is going to be the other guys that are getting ready to do the heat next. They're watching this right now and they're learning a lot. from what Kyle Holden was able to do. They're going to be really wanting to get that lead early and possibly utilize that clean air in order to, because you saw Nathan was able to stay with Kyle for quite a bit, but eventually that dirty air is going to overcome you, and I think that's what's happening with the 24.
It certainly is. It's going to be very difficult. It's all going to be about setting up for making sure you have strong run, you take care of your equipment, you pace yourself from start to finish here, especially when we go ready to go for Heat 2 and the fight feature race later.
Well, here we go. We're coming up to the white flag here in just a moment. Kyle Holden, of course, is your leader, and he is definitely putting on a great show. This will, I do believe, give him the pole for the main. So that is going to be, I think, an important position that could really set himself up for success. And this is going to be also, this race is going to be a huge momentum builder, I'd say, for the coming season. Next week, I do believe the Champion Power Equipment is going to be going into their next season, which will be starting at Michigan. So, these guys really need to have that momentum. I mean, going from a road course to an oval is quite a transition, but this is going to kind of soften that transition as the white flag is out. Go ahead.
Certainly is a big transition. It's going to be exciting to see how this will play out later on. And we kicked off the new season here and on Grid Vision, of course.
Yeah, definitely. And here we go. Kyle Holden out of turn number 4. He's going to cross the start-finish line as your Heat 1 winner. Nathan Myers, of course, comes home in the second place position, about a half a second back. And, he loses it into 1 and 2, but doesn't really make any difference. Of course, Robert Wynn is going to get that third place spot. George Young in 4th. Sheldon Pearson 5th. Brad Thacker in 6th. And, of course, we're going to go ahead and get everybody lined up for Heat number 2. This one will be a 5-car heat. And, of course, there is a previous season champion, Craig Ganzak, going to be in the field. He's going to be starting up on the front row with Jason Taylor in 2nd, James Harris in 3rd, John Lucido 4th, Steven Shepard in 5th. Of course, Craig Ganzak, I think he's got something to prove. He's been doing really well at the road courses. I think he almost, has something to prove here. Of course, Robbie Keneally not here tonight. I think that's the one that he really wants to battle, and I can't wait to see if Robbie makes an appearance for this coming season, because I think that those guys are going to have their round 2 as we get rolling here. Watch Craig Ganzak, though. This guy is all about really consistency and saving tires. I would not be surprised to see him finish with a bigger gap than Kyle Holden did.
You are talking about one of the most dominant drivers in the Champions Power Equipment Truck Series of all time.
Yeah, he definitely is. He just puts on awesome performance after awesome performance. I mean, road course, oval, it does not matter. Craig Ganzak is usually one of the ones that finds himself in victory lane. So I'm sure a lot of these other drivers want to have the pleasure of maybe knocking him off of the throne. As we file down the backstretch, getting ready to enter 3 and 4. Pace car is going to be taking that left turn as we get started. Heat number 2. Of course, this is going to be another 20-lap race. And, of course, we saw in Heat 1 that tire wear seemed to be so important. Clean air seemed to be important as well. I expect that this is going to be a lot of the same here in this race. We'll have to wait and see, though. I mean, could it be a little bit could some of these guys be a little bit more cautious, maybe to save the tire? We'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. Pace car has dipped down pit road, and the green flag is back out for Heat number 2. Craig Ganzak with a fairly decent start. Jason Taylor looks like he was caught a little bit sleeping up on the top, not able to stay side by side into turn 1. Looks like Craig Ganzak is clear. He jumps down in front of, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, James Harris, I should say.
Yeah, Harris had a good run trying to look to the inside in his Toyota Tundra, but was not able to make it work, as we see Craig Ganzak starting to pull away in that number 3 race EPI machine.
You see Jason Taylor trying to run a little bit more of the middle groove, while James Harris running absolutely on the top, painting that white line. Surprised to see these guys running that low. Like I mentioned before, it's kind of hard to do that at Atlanta. But you see, yeah, James is really low here, following right into tire tracks of Craig Ganzak. Ganzak goes up in front of Taylor. Taylor getting a big run up on the top side into the wall a little bit and hits again. Oh, this could be a problem. Taylor's around. And there goes Steven Shepard as well. Caution is out.
There it is, our first caution. We saw the first heat race a little bit calmer. This one, a lot more I have to say, vibrant and interesting.
Yeah, they were definitely packed in there like sardines. I mean, Jason Taylor did not have a whole lot of room from that wall to the driver underneath him. Oh, a big hit there for Steven Shepard. A lot of damage on his right side. Just a lot of damage as well on the left and right side of Jason Taylor. So he definitely had a acting almost like a ping pong ball. It looks like he got stuck up on the wall there on the backstretch, and it does not seem like that was hurting him too bad. But once he started to enter turn 3, the wall kind of changes in a lot of ways to where it's almost like two separate pieces of wall. And when you enter 3, it kind of juts out, and he hit
It's
that jut out, and it just almost destroyed him.
Yeah, it's really a really difficult section here around this circuit, especially with this configuration. That wall does jet out quite a bit, where it could get you if you're not careful.
And that's exactly what happened. We see smoke pouring out of the back of the 13 machine. I think he's going to definitely be having probably some required repairs. Everybody heading down pit road. Now, this is interesting to see that everybody has decided to pit here for tires. John Lucido, though, has decided to stay out. Now, this is going to be interesting to see. Of course, they only did, I think, a lap and a half, if I'm not
At,
mistaken.
at least 2 laps.
Yeah, could very well have been at least 2 laps for sure. But I think that's still enough to show a difference in the tire.
We're about to find out here as they come off of pit road. Zach Harris, the first 2 off, then Jansen Taylor, Steven Shepard following right behind.
Yeah, this place is very coarse. It is it's almost like a cheese grater the way this racetrack is. This old surface. So even that 2 laps, I think that is enough to be some sort of a difference here. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, maybe Lucido's tires will be up to temperature a little bit better, and he might fire off better.
He certainly might with those tires up to temperature here, and they continue on their way and getting ready for some action. But one thing we'll have to keep in mind is this could be an opportunity as John Lucido decided to come down pit road. Did he? Nope, he decided to stay out.
Him out here.
Still see it. Looked like for a brief second.
And I do believe Jason Taylor has utilized a fast repair, so he has got himself a brand new 15 machine. I do believe Steven Shepard has remained on the lead lap as well, so he will be catching up to the field right now. So we will still have all 5 trucks in competition here for heat number 2. Pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to go back green once again. We appreciate everybody joining us here on Grid Vision as we present the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Definitely one of our favorite series to call here for Grid Vision. Of course, if you are looking for possibly having a league broadcasted by us, we definitely are very interested in maybe working something out. Make sure to reach out to us at on our Grid Vision Facebook or Twitter. You can already see John Lucido trying to see if he can't warm the tires up a little bit here as the pace car prepares to take that left turn down pit road. And hopefully we'll have us a little bit of a green run here. And there goes the pace car. Tell you what, that pace car gets out of there in a hurry. Green flag is back out. Of course, Craig Anzac this time going to be starting up on the top. He gets a pretty good launch here. I think he might have the lead. You can see that I think Lucido just did not fire off. But it looks like he still does maintain the lead into 1 and 2. Wouldn't be surprised, though, to see Craig Anzac get a good run down the backstretch here. Of course, longer distance equals higher speed.
It certainly does here, as we're almost going to go 3 wide as Janzak goes to the top side, trying to hold off John Lucido on the bottom as they work their way side by side, 2 by 2, but it's Lucido who will hold them off.
Yeah, great job to John Lucido. You saw Craig Anzac utilizing the absolute top of the racetrack. He built up a good run, but it just did not seem like it worked out for him. He did manage to hold off, I do believe, James Harris. Of course, Harris trying to match him step for step at the moment in that Reaper race car. Of course, Jason Taylor right there behind him as well. But John Lucido looking like he's in command right now. But I think he might be burning his tires up just considering he's pulling away right now. And I don't think that's what you want to do. I think you want to maintain a lead. I don't think you want to try to pull away.
No, you certainly do not here, as everyone's trying to get themselves situated, lined up here, as Jansen Taylor and James Harris continue to do battle for that third spot. But for big surprise for John Lucido, able to still hold on to the race lead.
Yeah, this is going to be, I know a lot of drivers that are not in this heat at the moment, and the drivers that are in this heat are probably writing this down. They're probably taking notes as we see James Harris moves up to second place, getting by Craig Yanzak. I think Yanzak's got in mind right now, save, save, save. I think that's what's in his mind. He's like, go ahead, James Harris. If you want to burn your tires up, be my guest. But I do think, oh, Jason Taylor getting loose again. That car is just not handling well for that 15.
It is certainly not handling well, but they are working hard and trying to get things going and still maintaining a good race for position. How about this for Steven Shepard in the 13, having a good battle with Jansen Taylor?
Yeah, definitely. He is definitely putting on a good show. Steven Shepard, of course, had heavy damage in that caution. Able to utilize the fast pair in, now back out here in the battle. Here comes Lucido, battle for the lead. Lucido getting challenged by James Harris. 3 wide for a second. I think Craig Yanzak was thinking about taking him 3 wide. I think we still have the opportunity and potential for it. And here comes Yanzak, trying to see if he can't get underneath Lucido. But Lucido running as low as he possibly can to take away the opportunity from Yanzak. Yanzak jumps up in front of James Harris. Oh, man, they are almost touching coming out of turn 2.
Certainly are. They were definitely a little too close for comfort with 10 laps to go here as they send it off into turn 3. You see right there Lucido getting a little help from James Harris, but here comes the driver of Craig Yanzak.
Yeah, Yanzak, of course, I think he was trying to save the tires a little bit early. You always hear it said over and over and over again about the first 5 laps of a run being the most important. They have such an impact on the rest of the run. I think Yanzak was trying to take it a little bit easier earlier, but now I think he has flipped the switch and is ready to get going. But somehow Lucido is still managing to defend these challenges. And here comes Jason Taylor. He takes the spot from James Harris, moves up to 3rd. Not over yet, though. Battle is on for 3rd place. Here we go. Going to be 8 laps to go here in this heat. Lucido has gotten passed by Yanzak. But here we go, side by side once again for the lead. Lucido getting a little bit tight. The 3 of Yanzak trying to pinch him down. There's a whole lot of blocking going on right now. These guys are out for blood. Elbows are out. And look at this. They almost look like they're flying like the Blue Angels right now.
It certainly is. It is a little bit of follow the leader right now. And how about this for Craig Yanzak, blocking both lanes whenever he sees a run about to come up? He might have to be a little careful because here comes Lucido down to the inside. 7 laps to go.
James Harris loose out of turn 2. Him and Jason Taylor involved with one another. Jason Taylor with major damage hitting the inside wall. I saw James Harris get loose out of 2. And that is exactly what happened. He got loose out of 2, came down on Jason Taylor, and all pandemonium broke loose once that happened. You see right here, loose right there. You saw right there out of 2 he got loose, and Jason Taylor just nowhere to go. And heavy, heavy lick on the inside wall for that 15. He is just having a very unlucky day. Taking a look back here. And you see Steven Shepard's right there in the mix as well. And I almost feel like maybe the air also disrupted James Harris's downforce. And that's what caused him, I think, to get loose.
It certainly looked like that indeed here. And a tough break here for the driver of James Harris, as well as also Jansen Taylor and Steven Shepard.
I do want to take the time to shout out, of course, the title sponsor for this series, Champion Power Equipment. Are you looking for reliable and high-performance power equipment to help you tackle any job? Look no further than Champion Power Equipment. Whether you need a portable generator, pressure washer, or any other power tool, Champion has you covered with top-of-the-line products at affordable prices. And as a proud sponsor of the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, they're excited to bring you even more power and performance on and off the track. Visit championpowerequipment.com today to learn more. And it looks like Jason Taylor had yet another fast repair waiting in the wings there. So he is going to be able to get back down there and get back out onto the racetrack. So the race is definitely not over yet. I think we are in possibly green-white checker territory, though.
We might be, depending on how quickly they're able to get themselves situated here. There's about 5 laps left to go, so they might be able to finish this under normal circumstances.
That is true. So I think that, I think we might end up having possibly a 2 or 3 lap shootout. Of course, everyone went down pit road to grab those sets of tires. Really shows how important they are, especially after that long of a run. I think they were able to do at least 10 laps on that set, and doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot. I'd say when you're at a track that is just this rough and this old of a surface. Tell you what, I miss this racetrack. I mean, I like the new one, but you can't beat this. This is pure and unadulterated racing. I mean, even some of the NASCAR drivers in real life, such as the old school veterans, they love this track because it's a driver's track. I mean, it's so difficult to find, that grip, and it's you have to search and you have to adapt. I love that.
It really is. It is a fun track. It's fun to really just test to know how well you can manage and save tires at a track like this. That's what makes this track so unique, makes it so fun to be able to just race around here and put on some great driving, and some great historical events have happened here.
That they have. I mean, some of the best races, I'd say, in NASCAR history have happened right on these hallowed grounds of Atlanta Motor Speedway. Unfortunately, I mean, luckily, I should say fortunately for us, we're on iRacing and we're able to keep this alive. Of course, I do believe we're going to have us a 3-lap run to the end here. Craig Ganzak is going to be the control car, so we prepare to have the pace car drop down pit road. And, of course, as I mentioned, 3 laps remain. And after that, we'll be starting our 40-lap feature. And here comes the pace car right down pit road once again. As Craig Ganzak enters the restart zone, green flag is out. Really good restart there from Ganzak. Really caught everybody, I'd say, off guard as we see James Harris is going to try to drop down in front of Lucido. Lucido all the way down to the white line, almost was driving on the apron there. That's a no-no here at this racetrack. I'll tell you, that place is like lava.
It is not a good idea to do that here, and he's going to try his best to get himself gathered back up, but Craig Ganzak putting on a stellar drive as he works his way back up to the front of the field. Lucido tries to hold on with those old tires. Here comes James Harris, though, moving up to P2 again.
Yeah, Harris has definitely been very, very quick here tonight, and quite a driver himself. I know one of the seasons prior in the past, he actually, I think, was the only one that was really had a chance to take a championship from Ganzak. So you could definitely see that he is motivated to try to see what he could do here tonight. Ran a really good lap last time by for the warm-up lap, if you will, and is really starting to catch up and put some pressure on Ganzak here. Of course, coming up here to the white flag. What is James Harris willing to do? Will he bump and run? I think it's going to be down to these two. Go ahead.
Safe to say that is the case here as they come out of the turn number 2.
Oh, big wiggles. James Harris down to the bottom, and look at the lap time these guys hit last time by. Every one of these drivers hit their fastest lap last time by. So when these guys don't have to save tire, they are going to put down a heater, and that's exactly what happened. But James Harris is not going to be able to take the spot from Craig Ganzak. Ganzak, your Heat 2 winner. James Harris comes home in second place. Third place, John Lucido. I didn't quite catch 4th and 5th. I was too busy blabbering. But I do believe we do have a warm-up here. So with that, we'll take a brief step away, pay some attention to our sponsors, and we'll be right back with the 40-lap feature with the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Grid Vision's presentation of the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the 2008 version, and it has definitely not disappointed. We just finished up Heat 1 and 2. Of course, Kyle Holden won Heat number 1. I do believe Craig Anzac won Heat number 2. My name is Brian Britt, joined by Taylor Burris. Of course, we have Austin Derbyshire down behind the cameras. I mean, what do you expect here, Taylor? I do believe we're going to be gridded up here soon.
It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. We saw some great strategies like John Lacido not having to come down really pit road towards the very end. And then, of course, we saw some other great drives from Kyle Holden as now the field is getting themselves ready to go. And it is inverted. So if you started up first, if you won your heat race, you're going to start dead last.
Oh, my goodness. That was something I did not realize was going to happen. So that means Brad Thacker is going to be starting on the pole. Jason Taylor in second. Sheldon Pearson third, Steven Shepard fourth, George Young fifth, John Lacido sixth, Robert Wynn seventh, James Harris eighth, Nathan Meyer ninth, Craig Anzac 10th, and Kyle Holden last. Oh my goodness, these guys, if you won the heat, you are probably in a bad spot right now. I would have almost probably sandbagged the heat in order to finish up or start up front.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting to see how the drivers who were the dominant drivers in their heat races are going to have to fight their way up to the field, but we're getting ready to see how it plays out.
Yeah, this is going to be entertaining. I mean, I love this idea. I think this might have been a surprise for some of the other drivers. I know they hinted at this being a possibility, but I don't think it was necessarily a guarantee that this is going to happen. But I'll tell you, this is definitely going to inject a ton of excitement, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you have your popcorn, you got your drink ready, because you don't want to go anywhere, I'll tell you that.
It certainly is. So we're going to see how this plays out, and I'm going to be excited. John Thacker may have a good shot of getting a good finish. Same thing with Jansen Taylor, but, John Thacker's pulling off the court. Oh, well, there goes
trying to hit the cone.
That blue cone is not going anywhere.
I don't know why people always want to pick on those poor cones.
I know. They have lives, too,
I do love Brad Thacker's paint scheme, though. He's got the at the back of that car, it says Rolling Chicane. So, he's going to turn Atlanta Motor Speedway into a road course if he doesn't be careful. But, I think his starting position is going to be very important. I think we saw Brad Thacker was quite quick in his heat. I think it was just, the dirty air and not managing his resources properly was his main issue. So we'll have to see if he's able to alleviate those problems here today. In this heat, or this feature, I should say. Pace car has dipped down pit road. Green flag is out for the 40-lap main here as we see Jason Taylor. Good restart. Taylor was another one that was fast in his heat. So I expect a lot from that driver. You see Sheldon Pearson already putting some pressure on the back end of the 56. We see Craig Anzac slicing and dicing his way, trying to work his way forward.
He certainly is. He's going to fight his way up through the field here as Janzak tries to make short work of it. And with already out of 2 corners, he's up inside the top 5.
Yeah, he is looking really good at the moment. Already has driven his way up into 4th place. And we got a lot of almost beating and banging here in the middle of the pack. I do believe I see George Young and John Lucido very close to one another. Janzak up to the top, into the middle row there, trying to see if he can't work that middle groove to see if he can't pass by Sheldon Pearson. Oh, Steven Shepard sideways. No caution. Looks like he's going to get it back straight, but he is going to lose a lot of momentum.
Close call indeed. He was able to save it as we take a look here at the replay.
You see right here. Yep. Just got loose on the exit of turn 2. There's some bumps down there low, and I think that he hit one of them. He found one of them the hard way.
He certainly did, and he was able to recover nicely. Probably messed up the tires just a little bit, but he's still out there putting on some good runs, and he's going to work his way a little further back.
He's going to be hoping and praying for possibly a caution to see if he can't get saved a little bit here. Of course, Jason Taylor battling side by side with our leader, Brad Thacker. Taylor utilizing that top side. He's getting huge runs out of the corners, and I think that's going to be what he's going to need here. I mean, looking really, really strong at the moment. As you also see Craig Janzak battling with Sheldon Pearson. Janzak all the way up to the top. He is all the way at the fence. I think he's the only one that really is able to utilize that line successfully.
He certainly is, and he's been putting on a good run here as they work their way over into turn 3 and 4. You watch right now, Craig Janzak going up any higher than pretty much everyone else on the circuit. He's running up on half a lane higher than even your race leader, Jansen Taylor, who takes over the race lead as they come out of turn 4 across the line.
I think the reason he's doing that is to get some clean air. I think he's trying to save the tire, and I think that's what that clean air kind of does for you. But still battling for the lead. Jason Taylor trying to see what he could do against Brad Thacker. Still side by. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there for Craig Janzak. That's going to possibly alleviate some of the pressure that was being put on Sheldon Pearson. Pearson's now clear. I love this. These guys racing side by side. You see John Lucido, I do believe, side by side with Nathan Meyer. He's another one that's been moving up through the field. One of the newer drivers, I think, to this series. Definitely putting on a good show for us. Still side by side for the lead, though.
Still side by side, and they're 2 by 2 by 2 all the way back to 10th position. How about this racing action here for the Champions Power Equipment Truck Series?
Yeah, these guys are putting on quite the show right now. I love every bit of it. As we see, Janzak, of course, was running on the top. Now has switched his efforts down to the bottom. Side by side with Pearson once again. You see George Young right there behind him. Love this battle. And these guys are putting on quite a show. Can't wait to see who's going to be crowned the winner here of the race here. Such a lot of momentum they'll get going into the next race, and it looks like Janzak gets loose again. Somehow is able to get up in front of George Young. Almost version on 3 wide further back here.
3 wide as they try to get themselves situated. Oh, big wiggle right there for your driver of John Lucido, and the 73 machine gathers it back up, but big surprise by 2 drivers, Nathan Meyer and Kyle Holden. They have really not made any headway working their way through the field. They're still just around the 8th or 7th and 9th position.
I almost feel like they're trying to take it easy to kind of save a little tire. They know that that is the most important resource, and when you start further in the rear of the field, it's so hard to do that. But I think that's what they're planning, to try to see if they can't incrementally work their way up forward without burning up too many of their resources here, especially if this stays green. And it does have a look of it that is possibly going to stay green. Jason Taylor, though, has taken the lead from Brad Thacker, so we do have a new leader. He was battling with Brad Thacker for quite a long time. Of course, we saw Jason Taylor have a lot of bad luck in his heat. He was very fast, but ended up having some major bad luck. I do believe we saw James Harris get loose in heat number 2, and unfortunately smashed Jason Taylor into the inside wall, which took him pretty much out of the contention for that heat win. But now he is pretty much has secured the lead. We'll have to see how long he's able to keep it up. Does he keep, maintain his resources? I think that's the main problem, that when a guy gets into the lead, Taylor, a lot of times you don't have anybody really to judge yourself on to know if you're burning your equipment off.
Yeah, you're gonna have to see how this will play out here. You really watch and see the lap times that you're running. Try to find that middle line as far as showing good speed, but also making sure you're taking care of your equipment. Want that fall off to be pretty well documented for the most part here. And watching the lap times amongst the competitors right now, they have already fallen off anywhere between 4/10 of a second to about 6/10 of a second right now.
And you see Jason Taylor running really high on the racetrack right now. Very interesting to see him doing that. And Brad Thacker staying right there with him. Sheldon Pearson as well. So these guys are staying pretty close together here as we're 12 laps in to this feature. Of course, you mentioned tire wear. I think it's going to continue to get worse and worse. We saw in one of the heats, I believe the first heat where they went green for the entire 20 laps, we saw over a second of fall off. So I think we're going to see possibly even more than that here. And could we even risk possibly someone blowing a tire?
There is a possibility of that here as we see these drivers try to race really hard with each other as we're approaching halfway through the race, heading off down the front straightaway. Lucido tries to get around a couple of competitors at 59 of Kyle Holden as he works the inside, but Kyle Holden now starting to march his way forward.
Oh, Jason Taylor loose. He's going to lose the lead here. Now back into third at the moment, possibly going to lose even third. Still loose. Smoke coming out of that machine. Take a look back and see what happened here to Jason Taylor. I think he just got loose. Might have found one of those bumps. See right here. Yep, just got loose out of two. It seems like that's the main area people are getting loose is out of two.
Yeah, that is the trouble spot. I remember time and time again trying to race around here at Atlanta Motor Speedway this configuration, and turn 2 was always the most detrimental corner that I struggled with.
Oh, almost 3 wide. A little bit further back here, we see Kyle Holden in the middle with George Young on top, John Lucido on the bottom. Oh my goodness, these guys are still 3 wide. They have cleared it up now 2 wide. Wow. They were racing so hard. Kyle Holden trying to hold off John Lucido and also get by George Young at the same time. Oh, Young getting a little bit loose off of 2, able to keep it together. This is some great racing right here. 15 laps in.
This is some great racing, and this is what makes this truck series itself, the Champions, so unique. You have great, hard racing throughout the field. You have your strong, dominant drivers, and you never know who might pop up in these races here. Of course, we've had a couple of big names in motorsports and music come out here and race in this series, so we'll see how this plays out into the new season.
Side by side for the lead, Sheldon Pearson is going to take the lead for the first time here tonight. As he gets by Brad Thacker. Greg Ganzak trying to dodge. Brad Thacker goes to the bottom. Side by side for second. What a move from Sheldon Pearson.
Sheldon Pearson definitely a man on a mission, but also James Harris and John Lucido got together, putting Harris up into the wall. They were able to still keep it straight and going, but a close call for those 2 competitors.
Yeah, this has just been fantastic. Of course, Kyle Holden has made his way up into now 5th place. So watch out for him. Of course, he was the winner of heat number 1, but he was racing pretty hard there, I'd say, to get to where he is. Of course, top 4 have started pulling away a little bit here. The distance in between 4th and 5th is now about 6/10. But I do believe Kyle might be lessening that distance at the moment.
He certainly is going to try his best to do so here as they work their way across the start-finish line. Lucido dropping behind the driver of James Harris for position as they'll go side by side for the 3rd spot. Thacker to the bottom. There you see Meyer to the outside. They are now working together, see if they can try to get a good run off turn number 2. Myers almost scrapes the wall off turn 2, but gathers it back up.
Yeah, and that allows him to get the run he needs to get up to 3rd. Of course, Myers was very strong in heat number 1, so I expect a lot from him. Oh, Pearson into the wall. That is going to cause him the lead. Craig Ganzak now up to 1st.
Cost him more than just the lead. He's going to drop back a couple of spots, almost outside the top 5 as we take a look here at the replay. See what happened here to the driver of Sheldon Pearson, and the 88 machine just goes up a little too high, gets a little bit too tight, and gives the wall a little bit of a kiss. Gathers it back up. But unfortunately will lose multiple spots. He's now in 4th position.
Yeah, he lost a lot of momentum there as a result of that. Unfortunate, it's so hard to know. that you're going to hit that wall. And he had ran that line successfully quite a bit. I mean, it seemed like that was the line that he really liked to run, was a little bit higher up on the track. But these trucks are very vulnerable to damage as well. So wouldn't be surprised to see the aero on that truck affected. But he still is able to battle side by side with Kyle Holden at the moment. Into the wall again goes Pearson. Caution is out. We have a replay of what happened here. I think it was the 16 of Robert Wynn, possibly involved with Steven Shepard.
Go a little further back here and see what happened. Here we go.
Looks like he was just doing a green flag stop here. I don't think this was the cause of the caution. We might have had an impromptu caution thrown by maybe race control.
Possibility. It is the halfway point.
Yes, that is the truth. Yeah, James Harris, the admin, has thrown a caution. So I think that they have decided to throw a caution, maybe to get the competition all back up together and allow everyone to go down pit road to take a set of tires, which is interesting to see. This could definitely bring some other drivers back into this. Of course, Robert Wynn now 2 laps down. I think he might be done. He has disconnected.
He certainly has, as everyone races down pit road to get themselves situated.
Of course, now the caution flag is out. I'd like to shout out another sponsor here with the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, Green Mountain Grill. I love barbecue. We all do, I'd say. I mean, Green Mountain pellet grills are the top of the line quality grills for all of your grilling needs. Green Mountain Grills also offers the highest quality dry rubs, sauces, pellets, but not at the highest price. Customers enjoy the best possible grilling experience without breaking the bank. Visit either one of their 1,000 locations across the U.S. or visit them at greenmountaingrills.com for online purchases, recipes, and much more. Do you want to go ahead and shout out another one of their partners here? Blackstone Management Partners. Of course, Blackstone Management Partners guarantees an unrivaled one-on-one approach to every client, providing them with solutions and services required to keep their dynamic brands thriving and one step ahead of the ever-changing consumer marketplace. Blackstone comprises expertise in marketing, communication, and talent management, and event management. Working with their clients, they not only use traditional but state-of-the-art platforms, including mobile marketing, investigative marketing, and cause-driven marketing. Visit them at bsmpartners.com. Looks like we're getting set to get this thing back underway once again, as we have, of course, I do believe just under 20 laps remaining. Pace car lights are out. It looks like we have a decision made here. It looks like Craig Ganzak says he wants to start up on the top side. Interesting decision there.
It'll make things a lot more interesting, I have to say, for Craig, as he's going to take that top side, but he has been strong on the outside lane.
He has, and I think it's a good call. I mean, I think that top line has been strong, and he has control when the green flag comes out. So that's going to be the big thing as well. Of course, he would have had the advantage on the bottom or the top; it really wouldn't matter. But him having control of the restart is going to be so important, and he'll be able to get a much better run, I'd say, being up on that top. So I think this is could be the play of the race. We'll have to wait and see how this all works out. I don't think Nathan Myers, Brad Thacker, or Kyle Holden are going to, not put pressure on him, though. But we'll have to wait and see as the green flag comes back out once again here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Really good start there for Craig Ganzak. Nathan Myers just did not get going in time, and that held up the 59 of Kyle Holden.
It certainly did. It's going to be a big detriment for him right now at the moment as they try to get themselves situated and get the run. But for Thacker, he's stuck on that outside lane and struggling big time.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of help. He just, at least those guys on the bottom didn't get going, but at least they had numbers, which was, kind of allowed them to get a little bit of a burst of speed when they were on the back stretch. Of course, Brad Thacker he seems like he's recovered well. Side by side for third, you see him trying to battle with Kyle Holden.
And he hold on here as we're almost going to go 3 wide as they come off of turn number 2, trying to jockey for position. Ganzak trying to block both lanes as here comes Nathan Meyer. Close call right there.
Yeah, Kyle Holden got incredibly tight. A little bit of a push loose out of turn 2. Just trying his best to stay in it. And look at that. Brad Thacker is pinching the 59 down quite a bit. Oh, that was close. I'm telling you, this could end up with one of these drivers turned the wrong way and hitting the outside wall if they continue to pinch each other like this. Side by side for the lead, Nathan Myers up on the top side getting a heck of a run, and he's going to secure it. He's able to clear Craig Ganzak. Ganzak goes back down to the bottom though to see if he can't go side by side once again. Nathan Meyer, of course, second in state or heat 1, now is in the lead. Can he hold on to it as we have 14 laps to go?
Anything is possible between now and the end of this race here as they work their way down and across the track out of turn number 2. Drivers lined up nose to tail as here comes a pass for the race to lead.
Kyle Holden able to somehow get one over on Craig Ganzak, utilizing the top side, just got a monstrous run. And he now is side by side with Nathan Meyer for the lead. He did lead that last lap. He is on the bottom side. We've seen the top side be very strong. So I'm not sure if Kyle's going to be able to hold on to this lead. It looks like he does get clear. He's getting some really good runs in 1 and 2. And look, blocking him down to the track.
Oh, that was a close call right there.
Yeah, I mean, that was... Kyle Holden definitely wants to keep that lead. Blocking the 24 almost all the way down to the white line. Side by side, though, a little bit further back, Jason Taylor and James Harris battling for 4th.
They're going to go side by side. James Harris trying to see if he can get the run he needs off turn number 2. Not going to work. He'll drop back behind Jansen Taylor.
Here we go. Here comes Nathan Meyer once again. Down to the inside into 3 and 4, fighting for the lead. I think he might have it. He gets a good run out of turn 4. Just barely able to slide up in front of Holden. Holden tries to cross over. And this is going to be good for Craig Ganzak. He's probably loving every bit of this, watching these guys battling like this. Because if they keep crossing each other over and battling like this, they're just burning their resources up. Here comes Nathan Meyer back again.
Here he comes with a big run across to the inside as he tries to get the run he needs for the race lead. But here he comes to the inside. Craig Ganzak watches onto the catbird seat. He's thought about going 3 wide, thinks better of it. Trouble! John Lucido makes contact a little further back with the 13 of Steven Shepard.
Yeah, I definitely saw that a little bit in the backdrop. Lucido lost a lot of speed there. That's going to give possibly even I do believe, 9th position to Sheldon Pearson. 10 laps to go. We're going to take a replay and see if we can't see what happened there. You see Steven Shepard. I think they might have had a little bit of contact here.
Off of turn 3 and 4, so it's coming up right about here. You see them still racing pretty hard. And right there, I think Shepard just washes up the track just a little bit and makes contact with Lucido. He'll drop back to 9th position for the moment.
And here we go, still battling for the lead. Kyle Holden and Nathan Meyer getting incredibly close. Oh. Holden into the wall. And that is going to take a lot of momentum away from him.
And this gives the chance for Craig Ganzak to capitalize on the mistake of both drivers and retakes the race lead once again.
Yeah, what a great job there to Craig Ganzak. He was really waiting for just the most opportune moment. That shows a lot of wisdom. But still, I don't think Nathan Meyer is done. Side by side for the lead once again. And Meyer is going to try to take it. Does he get clear? And he does. Gets a little bit, he's getting a little bit tight out of the corner. I think this is going to give the advantage back to Craig Ganzak again. And look at Jason Taylor riding all the way up at the top of the track, trying to build up any momentum he possibly can to get into this dogfight.
It certainly is, and Meyer's really putting on a stellar performance, and if he's going to be racing in next season's Champions Power Equipment Truck Series, watch out for him because he's able to go toe-to-toe with one of the best in the series.
Yeah, he definitely has been. He's definitely been putting on such a great performance, and here comes Jason Taylor to the inside, 3 wide for the lead, And Taylor is going to take it.
How
He
about
slides up. Ooh! Barely clears Nathan Meyer and up into the wall.
tough break for Jason Taylor right there. He'll drop back further down the field as he's now getting swallowed up by Kyle Holden and James Harris. Ooh, trouble
we
for
have
one
some
driver.
problems for Brad Thacker. No caution.
You mean
Possibly him and Sheldon Pearson getting involved. Yep, looks like a little bit of possibly even some net code. Still the battle is on for the lead as we come now to 5 laps to go. Nathan Meyer right now in the lead, turning some of the fastest laps. He was the fastest last time by on the racetrack, 31.977. So even though he's been battling hard, he somehow has been maintaining his equipment. But here comes Craig Ganzak to the inside. A lot of blocking going on. These guys are elbows out right now.
they certainly are elbows out, racing hard, racing very aggressively against each other here. It's the final race of this season before we get started with the new season coming up next week, and these drivers are going to fight to the bitter end as they come across the line. Just now 4 laps to go.
Last time by, Craig Ganzak was about a 10th faster than Nathan Meyer, but Meyer is holding a really good defending line. He's running up a little bit higher to make it so Craig Ganzak cannot get the run off the corners that he needs. You see Ganzak tries to get up to the side there of Nathan Meyer, trying to see if he can't side draft him, pull him back a little bit. Coming up now, 3 laps to go, and I think Meyer has successfully defended everything that Craig Ganzak has been able to do. We'll have to wait and see, though, because here comes Ganzak once again to the inside in 1 and 2. Also behind them is Kyle Holden and James Harris battling.
They are trying to have some great battles here in the closing stages, but here comes Nathan Meyer across the outside. He will clear Craig Ganzak finally in his machine. The 2 Chevrolets will battle it out for the top step.
Coming now to 2 laps to go. Does Craig Ganzak have anything left? Can he possibly try to win this race? Or will we see the new recruit come out here and win his first race? We're going to find out very, very soon, ladies and gentlemen. The white flag is soon to be waving as we are on the backstretch. Coming into 3 and 4. And Nathan Meyer looks like he has everything possibly in hand. But you can see Craig Ganzak trying everything he can. He goes all the way down to the white. Side by side across the line for the white flag. What is Ganzak willing to do? Will he throw a bumper? This is the time to do it. If you're going to use that chrome horn, now is the time to do it. Oh, there it is. A little bit of touching, a little bit of rubbing. In 3 and 4 right now. Soon to be exiting onto the front stretch. If Craig Ganzak's going to do something, now has got to be the time. They're going to be side by side across the line. And it looks like Nathan Meyer will win his first race in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. That was a close finish. Only 300ths separated those 2 drivers across the line.
What a absolute fight to the finish here, and it was absolutely amazing. Let's take a look at that here one more time on the replay.
What a finish. Only 300ths. That is very, very close. You see Ganzak trying desperately to wrap the white line to take the shortest way around the racetrack. Tries to drive him up to the racetrack. They even had contact going across the line, but it just did not matter. Nathan had the momentum. And he will win this race. What a fantastic job to the 24 as he's going to come to the front stretch to celebrate this victory. Truck looks a little bit worse for wear, but you can't take it home with you. See if he does a good burnout for us. There he goes, starting to spin the tires. Going to give these nice Atlanta fans a nice smoke show.
I think we'll be looking over everything. That is the closest finish in Champions Power Equipment Truck Series on a non-restrictor plate track.
How about that? That is an interesting fact. And I do believe that wraps up our winning moment there for Nathan Meyer, I should say. Of course, second place was Craig Ganzak. Go ahead and see if we can't get the results up here for us so we can all take a look at the final result. Okay, so it looks like we're having we'll go ahead and run down through the final results here. Nathan Meyer, of course, your winner. Craig Ganzak in second place. James Harris finishes in third. Kyle Holden finishes fourth. Fifth place, George Young. Sixth place, Steven Shepard. Seventh, John Lucido. Eighth, Jason Taylor. Ninth, Sheldon Pearson. Brad Thacker in 10th, and Robert Wynn rounds out this 11-car field. And what a race this was at Atlanta. I'm telling you, it's one of the most exciting races I've seen, especially with it being such a low car count. Fantastic performance for sure. Wouldn't you say, Taylor?
Absolutely here, and it was going to be exciting to talk to our race winner, Nathan Myers.
Yeah, definitely will. Of course, we'll start out with our third place finisher first. One moment. Oh, there he is. James Harris, third place, man. I know you had a quick truck out there for sure. Definitely a difficult racetrack as well. It seemed like it was very difficult to pass, and resource management seemed to be a priority. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, for sure. Inverting the field might have been a mistake because dirty air and track position are two big keys to this track. But we worked our way up a little bit, and I messed up on that pit stop, and I did not take fuel. And on these fixed setups, that completely screws up the balance of your car. But once we got it figured out, we were catching the leaders there at the end.
Yeah, definitely seemed like you were catching the leaders there at the end for sure, and it seemed like they were racing quite hard. What was your, I'd say, strategy? Was it just to kind of manage the equipment?
Yeah, I was trying to manage it for these, it was just a 20-lap run to the finish. I was trying to manage the first 4 or 5 laps and not lose too much and then just go hard from there. But since I messed up my balance, I was actually spending those times trying to figure out how to drive the truck since I messed it up. But once I did, I started moving pretty good.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Of course, such a great racetrack to kind of take a little bit of a step back in the time machine for sure. What was the kind of decision that led to you guys choosing this racetrack?
Well, it's got a lot of room to race. Even with the fixed setup, you could run low, middle, or high, just drive them differently, and you can be competitive. And it usually puts on a good finish, as you saw there. The attendance at the road courses wasn't what we wanted. And I figured doing this before the season starts next week would have a few more guys, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But I'm looking forward to next week. It's going to be a lot of fun this season.
Now, of course, next week I do believe we'll be starting out with Michigan. How does that rank on your racetrack list? Do you feel pretty strong there?
Top 3. I believe I won our last Michigan race here a couple seasons ago. I've learned some tricks over the last few races there where I don't want to give too much away, but I can run a certain line and usually gain some spots pretty easy and not burn my stuff up. So I'm really looking forward to Michigan.
Well, we're looking forward to it as well. Who can we give a shout out to, James, before we let you go?
Man, first I want to say congrats to Nathan. Nathan had raced with us for a couple of years, and he took a long break, and he's coming back this season. He's a really good competitive guy. I just want to say congrats to him for beating Craig tonight. And always got to thank Kevin Kirscher, Blackstone Management, Champion Power Equipment, Cincinnati, Road Ranger, all those sponsors, Green Mountain Grills. They've been with us for almost 3 years now, and it's been a great relationship.
For sure. Definitely got to give a shout out to Nathan Meyer, too. We didn't even know really who he was. We thought he was a new driver that you had maybe just recruited, but glad to see someone that has, history kind of come back and definitely making some waves, that's for sure. It was a very impressive win. Thanks for your time, James, and we'll see you next week in Michigan, brother.
All right, man. Sounds good. Appreciate it.
All right, of course, that was James Harris, our third place finisher. Next up is Craig Ganzak. Very close finish, only 300ths that you finished behind Nathan Meyer. What could you have done there at the end?
Oh, man. What a great race. First of all, I'm so glad to have Nathan Meyer back on the circuit with us. He's been away from our league for probably close to 2 years, and a really good friend of mine. So happy to have him back and have him show up and put on a spanking like this. What a race. To answer your question, though, what could I have done differently? Probably about 3 laps ago, realized that I could have driven it that deep into 3 and had it stick, to be honest with you, because I drove it what I thought was Carl Edwards level deep into 3 there, and it just worked. And hey, That's racing, man. But what an amazing event! I'm so glad we were able to put this on and have such a high quality racing product. At a track that honestly I know I'm going to offend most of the NASCAR fan base. I really don't like this place, but it worked out great.
Yeah, you just offended me, good sir. We're going to cut this interview short.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I never. It always watched really well. That thing about like you kind of suck at certain tracks and you think that they don't drive well. Well, that's really what it is for me. I always enjoyed watching it, and Ryan Blaney won. I think it was one of the last, if not the second from last race here. Who's my NASCAR guy? So I really should like it more than I do, but I don't know. We can agree that the new one's worse, though. We can agree that the new one's worse. I'll give you that.
Alrighty, well that's we can compromise some way, but definitely looked like y'all were having a lot of fun out there either way, and of course, you seemed like you had the right ideas in mind. I mean, it was almost a stroke of genius to see the way you kind of just sat behind Kyle Holden and Nathan Meyer there. Was that the plan, just to kind of sit and watch them battle and hope they made a mistake so you can kind of take advantage? Because you look like you did take a really good opportunity when they did have an issue.
It's funny that actually. It's easy for me to sit here and say that was calculated, but it really was. As soon as I saw Holden throw a big block, as soon as he cleared Nathan, I was like, okay, they're going to do more heinous things. And I was like, okay, that's when I said, okay, I'll give this like 5-10 laps. I don't remember what lap it was. I said, I'll give it a few. And then I saw them just drifting up, and I was like, okay, this is the time. So I ripped the fence and won for the first time of that run, and the timing was perfect that they made contact and Holden got in the fence and was able to actually, like you said, capitalize on the opportunity. So, yeah, it was a plan, and it was an effective one at that, and it gave me a shot to be there at the end here because I think this is Holden's favorite track actually, and for him to have not been able to convert it into a good finish sucks for him, but was something I had in my head, knowing he was probably, if he cleared, he was probably going to get going. So, yeah, it was one of those plans that actually worked for once.
Yeah, it definitely did for sure. Now, I was surprised to see that Nathan still had resources left after that battle there with Kyle, for sure, but he somehow was able to manage his tires while being aggressive at the same time. Of course, next week we're going to be restarting the whole season. Michigan. What are your plans? Do you think that I'm going after a championship? I know you probably. It's like I can't finish second at a championship anymore. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, I mean we have got Nathan coming back, and he has come. I know it was before you guys were the servicers of our broadcast, but he has, I think, 4 second places in a championship. So he's going to be hungry. He just showed up here tonight and showed us, exactly that he's still capable of the same form that he had, back a year and a half ago. And, I think obviously I'll be full send for a championship. I don't know what the rest of the roster looks like, but, there's going to be a lot of adversaries out there, and I've got to do what I can do to make sure that whether it looks like I need to be points racing for a good finish, or if we've got that chance to grab the checkered flag first, we're going 100% full attack on that.
All righty, well, definitely Michigan's going to be a place where there's going to be a lot of attacking, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to see it, for sure, Craig. Who can we give a shout-out to after your second place finish?
Yeah, thanks to Champion Power Equipment, you guys at Good Vision TV, Elite Performance Industries, Splash & Go Graphics, Cosmo 9 SU, Free Beer and Hot Wings Morning Show, Digital Sim Sports, everybody that supports me, everybody that supports this league, and everybody supports our ventures as a whole. Super thankful for them, and thanks to Nathan for a really clean race here too. It was, like I said, really, really good to have a good friend back on the track too.
All right, well, great to see you out there as well. What a great finish for sure, so close, and from what I heard, it might even been a history maker for sure on a non-restrictor plate race. Well, thanks for your time, Craig, and we'll see you next week, brother.
Fantastic. Thank you, buddy. Take care.
Alrighty, that was Craig Ganzak. Next up, we have our winner, and of course, they told us that this is your first time back in quite a long time, and you come back in stylish form, able to win this race. Nathan, I mean, what a great job. I mean, I didn't think you had anything left after you had that battle with Kyle Holden, but you still did, apparently. Talk to us. How you feeling?
Yeah, man. I've been off this iRacing stuff for like a year and a half, and I got a full cockpit, and I've been racing for about 2 weeks now. But my first race back with the boys, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of slide jobs right in front of me. Just used the bumper a little and got to the front.
Yeah, that you did. Of course, in heat number 1, you and Kyle went 1-2, and of course, probably were you feeling a little bit maybe demoralized a little bit after that, or you just like, hey, it's time to get going into main? Because it seemed like having the field inverted also was another obstacle that you had to deal with.
Yeah, when Kyle got away from me in the first heat there, I knew I just had to manage my tires better. I messed up 2 corners in a row, and then he got that gap, and there was no catching him back. But I knew if I could get to the front and at least get around Craig and them and just held the top, at least had that momentum on the outside, and it worked out.
It definitely did, for sure. I mean, it seemed like there was a lot of, blocking and things like that, and you were racing really hard. What did you do different to save the tire?
I just let off in the corner more. I think during the middle of the corner, I was just accelerating too much and just scrubbing them off a little bit more than I should have in that first heat race. So in the second race, just made sure not to do that. And then obviously it helped getting that pit stop at lap 20 to get some freshies on there. So that helped.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like it did for sure. Well, great job to you. I mean, you were able to win by only 300 side by side there with Craig Ganzak. He seemed to be very happy to see you back, and we're definitely happy to see you. We've never got to see you out here, and we thought you were new to the league completely. So we're like, hey, who's this Nathan Meyer guy? And you came out here, definitely sent a message.
Yeah, it was fun. Craig and I go way back, 3 years now. We're buds, so it's fun to race alongside with him. And he's gotten a lot better than me so far, so it's good to beat him in something, for sure.
Yeah, you definitely did that, for sure. I mean, you beat a lot of the guys that are some of the heavy hitters, and I think they're going to be watching you. And then from what Craig says, that you've gotten a lot of second places in championships in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. What is your motivation here? Do you think you're going to really be trying to get that first place instead of the seconds?
Yeah, I have a lot of wins. I have a lot of laps led, but I don't have the end goal there with the championship. And some other guys that have been on my teams in these leagues have got them over me. So I'm ready to finally get over that hump and get that. I feel like Denny Hamlin in iRacing right now.
Well, we definitely wish you the best of luck. How are you feeling about Michigan next week? I mean, that's another track that you can rip that top, rip that bottom. A lot of different choices.
Yeah, I feel good about it. It's kind of a similar track, minus obviously the front stretch, but the way you maneuver the corners are still the same. So I'm looking forward to that. I love the tracks where there's not a ton of braking at, so I think I'll do pretty good and be right up front.
Well, we definitely look forward to seeing you, Nathan. Congratulations on the victory. Who can we give a shout out to?
Honestly, just the boys for letting me back in and having a great time and still being so supportive even though I've been gone. Appreciate all those guys.
100%. Definitely glad to have you back as well, or glad to be introduced to you, I should say.
Yeah, you too.
All righty, Nathan. Well, thanks for your time, brother, and we'll see you next week at Michigan.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
That was Nathan Meyer. Definitely a fantastic performance there for him, finishing just over Craig Ganzak by a little under 300. So what a race that was. I mean, great job to him. I mean, it was exciting from start to finish. I'll tell you what, I wish every race that called was like that. That's for sure. What do you think, Taylor? You there?
I have to agree with you on that. It was absolutely exciting from start to finish. They put on a stellar show for us, and I can only imagine what the new season will bring here starting next week.
Yeah, for sure, especially in Michigan. I mean, Michigan is a high adrenaline, high intensity type of racetrack, and I expect that we're going to be definitely on the edge of our seats there next week for sure. And I definitely am looking forward to it. Cannot wait. And so glad that this series, Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, they don't have a whole lot of, a lot of times when we see leagues, they have a lot of, we're going to have a month off in between seasons. But no, these guys get right back to it. And you can just tell they have such a love for racing.
They certainly do, and they're ready to get back on it, and we're ready to cover it starting off to next Tuesday, but we got some more racing action coming on later in the week.
That we do. We actually very much do. I do believe, of course, just speaking on that race coming up on next Tuesday at Michigan, that'll be about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that'll be the start of a new season with the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, so make sure you tune in to Grid Vision. We'll be covering all of the action. Of course, a little bit sooner than that is tomorrow. We're actually going to be back in action with the Thunderclap iRacing Series, and I do believe they're going to be taking the Car of Tomorrow to this very same track, Atlanta Motor Speedway, the 2008 version. And that car tomorrow is a monster. That thing is capable of hitting 220, 240 from what I've even heard. Of course, I don't think they'll be able to hit those same speeds at this racetrack of it. That is going to be quite the race. I mean, those guys having that much horsepower and that much speed, it's going to be, these guys are going to be wiggling and all over the place. I can't wait to see it tomorrow. That's for sure. And of course, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, later Saturday, Saturday, Taylor, you could probably fill us in a little bit more about this. I do believe the Majors 24 hours is happening. Is that right?
Yeah, it's starting Saturday at 9 a.m. We'll go till about 3 p.m. and then take a little bit of a break and then get back at it at 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. the following. So it's going to be a day full of exciting action and getting ready for the biggest classic endurance race of all time, the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
Oh, that is going to be exciting, to say the least. I know I'm going to be having my own little shift there with Justin Prince starting at 9 a.m., so I'm definitely going to have to make sure that I get plenty of coffee dumped down my throat and ready for that one. That's for sure, but I'm looking forward to it. I've never had a lot of experience with endurance races like that, so it's going to be a little bit of a learning experience for me myself, but luckily I'll have someone that's really experienced with it, Justin Prince, beside me in the booth, so definitely looking forward to it. Though with that, I do believe it is time to bring us to our conclusion for the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series broadcast here by Grid Vision. Of course, big thanks to Justin Levine, one of our partners here. Of course, you as well, Taylor Burris, Austin Derbyshire, for always doing a great job with the cameras as well. And, of course, my name's Brian Britt. Thank you for listening to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series on Grid Vision. I can't talk, apparently. We'll see you next time. Have a great night.